This is the modern reality for football fans around the world. You sit down to watch your team, but the game is behind a paywall. Not one subscription, not two, sometimes three. You need a monthly budget just to follow your passion. Once upon a time, football was the people's game. You could watch matches on free-to-air TV. You could go to the stadium without breaking the bank. Players were local legends, earning not much more than the fans in the stands. But today, football is a global billion-dollar machine. Players earn 10 million euros, 20 million euros, even 50 million euros a year. TV deals are negotiated like weapons contracts. And behind all this money, all this spectacle, is one person footing the bill. You, the fan. TV rights are the lifeblood of modern football. And fans are the ones paying. Let's break it down. TV rights are the licenses broadcasters pay to show live football matches. The Premier League, La Liga, Champions League, they auction off their matches to the highest bidders. Broadcasters pay billions for the privilege, and then they charge you to watch. In 2022, the Premier League sold its domestic TV rights for over £5 billion just for games in the UK. Add international rights, and the total package was worth over £10 billion. That money doesn't come from nowhere. It's passed down through subscription fees, ads, sponsorships, and price hikes to the fans. You pay to watch. You pay for the shirts. You pay through the clicks, the views, the hype. You're the product. You're the customer. And you're the one keeping the whole thing running. Want to watch the Premier League? You might need Sky, TNT, and Amazon. Want the Champions League? Now it's on a separate platform. Want to follow your local team? That's another subscription. In many countries, fans are paying hundreds of euros a year just to follow one club. And if you follow football broadly, you're looking at well over 1,000 euros annually. Let's go back, way back, to when footballers lived like ordinary people. In the 1950s and 60s, most professional players had second jobs. They worked in factories. They drove buses. They weren't millionaires, they were working class heroes. The English Football League had a maximum wage rule until 1961. The top players earned about £20 a week. But something changed. And it started with one thing: television. As the game reached more living rooms, clubs realized something powerful. Football wasn't just a sport, it was entertainment. And where there's entertainment, there's money. Fast forward to 1992. The Premier League is born, and so is Revolution. Sky Sports, a satellite broadcaster that hardly anyone took seriously, won the rights to show top-flight English football. They paid £304 million over 5 years. At the time, it was unheard of. They introduced flashy graphics, Super Sundays, Monday Night Football. They changed the game. Literally. Fans had to pay to watch. But in return, they got something slick, modern, and addictive. And suddenly, money started pouring into clubs. More money meant bigger wages. Bigger wages meant bigger stars. Bigger stars meant more hype and more subscribers. It was a cycle. And at the center of it, the fans' wallet. Today, the Premier League sells its TV rights to over 200 territories. La Liga broadcasts to Asia. Serie A has deals in Africa. Champions League matches are watched in cafes from Sao Paulo to Seoul. But again, someone has to pay for all of this. And while broadcasters write massive checks, they pass that cost straight down to the consumer, to you. Let's take a moment to look at how dramatically player salaries have grown over the past few decades. In 1992, the average Premier League player earned around £75,000 per year. By the year 2000, that number had jumped to approximately £500,000 annually. A decade later, in 2010, the average salary had reached about £1.5 million per year. And today, the average Premier League footballer earns over £3 million every single year. And that's just the average. At the very top, the numbers become even more staggering. Many elite players now earn between £300,000 and £600,000 per week. Yes, per week, with a few approaching the unbelievable mark of £1 million per week. This isn't because of ticket prices or shirt sales. It's because TV money exploded, and that money came from fans, from subscription fees, from ad revenue driven by fan viewership, from global fans tuning in at 2 a.m. to see Messi vs Ronaldo. You may not write the check directly to Kylian Mbappé, but you help fund it every time you watch, pay, and engage. Football used to be simple. 11 players, a muddy pitch, a ball, a community that gathered every Saturday. But football didn't just grow, it transformed. It became a product, a brand, a business. And somewhere along the way, the fan became a customer. First came sponsorships, then global branding. Manchester United wasn't just a club, it was a global label. Real Madrid sold shirts in Asia. Barcelona became a content machine. The model was simple. More fans equal sign, more views equal sign, more revenue. Today, clubs have commercial departments bigger than their academies. They talk about engagement, content, and market penetration. Games are scheduled for TV markets, not match-going fans. Tuesday night. 2015. 300 kilometers away. Kickoffs for Asia. Halftime shows for America. Replays for sponsors. It's not about fans anymore. It's about maximizing global engagement. And the cost? Fixture changes, fragmented streaming, 3 to 4 subscriptions needed, extra payment for HD or premium commentary. Loyalty has become a commodity. And fans are being turned into revenue streams. Football was once the working class's game. Today, working class fans can't afford to follow their team. In England, over £3,000 per year to follow home and away. In Norway, over 6,000 kroner per year to watch Premier League and Champions League. In Germany, Bundesliga split across multiple platforms. For many, it's just unaffordable. And what do they get? Late games, blackouts, delays, paywalls. A new generation of fans now grows up behind walls, TikToks instead of matches, highlights instead of history. They know celebrations, but not the 90 minutes. Football is becoming a luxury product, and those who live near the stadiums, they get the worst deal. Higher ticket prices, fewer voices, less access, more marketing. They are the sound, the passion, the energy, but they're treated like background. So now we ask, what kind of football do we want? Do we want a game controlled by rights holders, ad agencies, and global execs? A sport where loyalty is mined, not respected? A match experience behind paywalls and subscriptions? Or do we want a game built for fans? A return to community? Football that remembers its roots? Because here's the truth. Football without fans is nothing. Not just those in the stadium. Not just the ones with followers. All fans. Everywhere. And fans still have power. We stopped the Super League. We've protested unfair prices. We've made our voices heard. So let's keep asking. What kind of football do you want? Tell me in the comments. Because this isn't just my story, it's yours too.